Today, we are going to talk all about the gut brain mental health connection. Did you know that over 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut? And they have found recently in a lot of studies that people who tend to struggle with things like anxiety, depression, brain fog also have an imbalance in the microbiome in the gut. So it's become called the gut-brain connection. And there are a lot of common symptoms that you might be having issues with, things like candida overgrowth, dysbiosis, which is bacteria, and a lot of things happening in your gut that could be the cause behind your anxiety. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the common symptoms of the gut-brain connection that could be causing anxiety for you, what to do about it if you do suspect this is one of the problems for you, but also just some key foods, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that can help protect the gut lining and really just take care of both your physical health and your mental health. If you are new to this channel, my name is Ashley Drummons. I am a functional nutrition, health, and wellness coach. I have been in the industry for over 15 years, working with athletes, high performers, and fitness and weight loss clients using functional nutrition, supplements, health, and wellness. And this is my passion of sharing with you how you can fuel your personal best through functional health. If you haven't already, I put some links in the description below for you to check out with some more tools, supplements, and education to help you on your journey of feeling your best with functional health. So, today we're going to talk about the gut health connection, serotonin, how you can improve it, and if you do think that this is an issue for you, what are some of the changes you can make? So, our gut plays a key role in metabolizing everything from the food we consume, the vitamins and nutrients we consume. It also acts as a production house for our neurotransmitters, like I mentioned, serotonin, GABA, which is your calming neurotransmitter, dopamine, tryptophan, things like that. It also acts as a detox pathway to get rid of heavy metals, toxins, excess hormones. So it's super important. Your gut also regulates your inflammation and really helps with your overall immunity. So before we dive into what exactly is the gut-brain connection, you have to understand the way that the microbiome works. So when you buy a probiotic or some sort of gut supplement, you usually see on the front like 50,000 of this or 20 billion CFUs or this strain and like over 25 different strains. The first thing I will say when it comes to gut health, it is much more than just buying a probiotic because there are specific strains back. So what those strains are is they're bacteria. There are specific bacteria strains that do different things throughout the body in your gut health. So, for example, some of the strains like the lactobacillus are known to help with the GABA receptors. So, again, your GABA receptors being your calming hormones and impacting the vagus nerve. So, our vagus nerve is the calming, bringing us out of fight or flight, activating that parasympathetic nervous system. We also have another lactobacillus strain, the plantarum, however you want to say it, which is all about dopamine production. It's all about decreasing inflammation, which inflammation is a huge thing with anxiety. Then we have the Lactobacillus helveticus. So normally if you're looking at a probiotic, you'll see like L. helveticus or L. Rhamnosus, things like that. The helveticus is all about helping with cortisol levels, OCD type thinking. And then I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a ton. Then we have some of the other strains that are all about like psychological stress. So every probiotic is different. And I always tell people like more is not better because then you have some, which another cause with the gut health and anxiety process is sometimes you have an overproduction of histamines. So if you find yourself like I have really bad allergies and I have really bad anxiety, you might have a problem with histamine production that's happening in the gut. If so, one of the specific strains you want to stay away from in your probiotic is the Casei, Casei. That one actually helps produce histamines in the body. And if you're somebody who struggles with allergies and anxiety, that's not something you want to incorporate. So the gut is a very incredible, complex thing that can impact your mental health. So, when it comes to anxiety and depression, so obviously we know that serotonin is a huge process of this. There is a lot you need to know in the role that it plays and some of the signs that you can look out for that gut dysbiosis might be the problem of it. So, what causes gut dysbiosis and what is it? Dysbiosis occurs when you have an imbalance of bad bacteria or microorganisms and good microorganisms in the gut. So the symptoms are very broad, but it can be anything from things like brain fog, anxiety, extreme fatigue, feeling like you can't throw or slow your thoughts down and your head's just like hot, super wired. Um, GI symptoms too can cause a lot of that and just a lot of inflammation. So anytime I have somebody that comes to me and they're telling me like, hey, like my bowel movements are off. So I get a lot of clients that come to me who either are not having regular bowel movements, regular being you're going at least 1 to 2 times ideally, but at least once a day you are going poop, you have a bowel movement, but also the consistency of that. So if you are going once a day, but there's no solidity to it, then that's a good sign that you have something going on that's inflammation or that's an imbalance in the gut bacteria. So if you're somebody that's always gassy and bloated, constipated, you have diarrhea, your bowels are just really off, that can be an indicator that your gut microbiome needs a little bit of balance and health structure. The other sign of that, though, so sometimes it's a very physical gut sign, but some of the other symptoms related to a gut and the imbalance is trouble with focusing, depression, anxiety, OCD, things like that. And then the third symptom that is common with gut health issues are all in the skin. The skin is huge with gut health. And when I have a lot of people who are either having like acne, really bad dark circles underneath the eye, eczema, dermatitis, things like that, that usually indicates to me we got something going on with the gut, whether it is dysbiosis, whether it is candida overgrowth, whether you just have a little bit of leaky gut. All these things are the first thing I look for of let's take a look at the gut and see what's going on and how we can fix that. So what are some of the things that causes this? Number one that I usually see is food and diet, your nutrition. And ironically, it's not always a matter of like eating healthy and that being the problem. A lot of times it's more so if you are consuming a food that you have a sensitivity to or an inflammation to, it will disrupt that gut microbiome because it causes a lot of inflammation and stress on the body. So typically, if somebody is coming to me with any of these issues, the first test I have them run is a food sensitivity test. And then we also do a micronutrient panel that will show some of the gut imbalances that might be going on to identify if it's a dysbiosis, if it's like a digestive thing, if it's candida, things like that. When we have this, the main foods I see as the trigger are going to be gluten. Even if you're not celiac, sometimes gluten can cause it, not for everybody, but gluten, eggs, cow dairy, corn, and nuts. Now, obviously, you could just eliminate all these from your diet and then introduce them over time to see which ones cause triggers or symptoms. Or you can take a food sensitivity test or a food allergy test, and then that would be the first place you would start. The other thing that can cause a gut imbalance too is lifestyle and stress. Stress all responds in the gut, causing a response in the HP axis with your brain, with cortisol, with how your body isn't really absorbing the nutrients that you're consuming. So, making modifications about your stress and your lifestyle can have a huge impact on your gut health as well. Another thing, antibiotics. If you are somebody who has used and regularly use antibiotics, the problem with antibiotics and using them every time you get sick, you get a sinus infection, you have something else going on, is it kills off all the bacteria, both good and bad. So using antibiotics regularly is a huge indicator that you probably have some gut imbalances going on. Um, there's a lot of other things. You can also have an underlying infection, like a fungal infection. So if you're somebody who struggles a lot with like yeast infections, oral thrush, that's all gut health related. Insomnia, a lot of times insomnia is a big thing that can indicate a gut health problem. But the biggest thing that I want to emphasize is a lot of times when we do testing in the world of functional health, especially when we're doing micronutrient testing, that we see is the connection between anxiety, depression, insomnia, and brain fog, all stemming from poor gut health and microbiome imbalances. So, if any of this resonated with you and you felt like that was you, my suggestion would be that you can start eliminating some of those trigger foods that I mentioned from your diet, getting your lifestyle under control with the stress balance. But also, if you would like to work with me and run some tests to find out if you have a food sensitivity or if you have some other gut health imbalance going on, I put the link in the description below. But those are the main things I just wanted to talk about. Hopefully you found this helpful and it gave you a little bit of some information that you can start improving your overall gut health to improve the overall quality of life and your overall health. And if you haven't already, check out this other video that I have here that I think will help make sure that you at least have your macronutrients in check to support your overall mental health and well-being, along with your physical health and well-being. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in some of the other videos.